The sun was sinking fast. Shadows stretched long and thin across the Australian bush, and the air was heavy with the weight of an approaching storm. I was just finishing an afternoon hike, my boots crunching over the rough trail, my body tired, but alive in that way only the outdoors can make you feel. I could see the clearing ahead where my car was parked, a small rest stop off the highway with just a few gravel spaces. My mind was already shifting to getting home before the weather turned. But then I saw her, a woman, mid-50s maybe, walking toward me from deeper in the trail. And right away, something felt wrong. This wasn't a beginner's path, even for me. Someone who's been hiking for years, some of these sections could be challenging. She didn't look like someone out for a brisk evening trek. No backpack, no water, no gear. And the way she moved, purposeful, but not the kind of purpose that says, I'm just here for fresh air. Something about it put my instincts on high alert. We met in the open stretch before the clearing. She stopped too close to me, eyes on mine, but not with the kind of warmth or recognition you expect from a fellow hiker. No greeting, no smile, just a hand gesturing toward the open lot and my car, the only car in sight. Is that your car? She asked. Flat, direct. I glanced over. It was true. There were no other vehicles. No way she could have just walked here from the highway without a ride, and there was nothing else around. My gut tightened, but I answered, yes. Perfect, she said. There's a storm coming. I can't be caught in it. I need to get home. Her tone wasn't pleading. It was final, like she'd already decided what would happen. And before I could respond, she turned and started walking straight toward my car. I thank God every single time I replay this moment in my head that my car doors were locked, because from the way she moved, fast, with this sense of ownership, I know she would have slid right into the passenger seat without asking. I hurried after her, trying to keep my voice calm. I told her I wasn't sure it was a good idea to give her a ride. I asked why she was out here in the first place, but it was like talking to a wall. She ignored me until she realized the car was locked. That's when she turned. Her face, it changed. All at once, there was this flash of anger, sharp and unfiltered. I need to get home. A storm is coming. I cannot be caught in it. Why don't you get it? She repeated those lines, each one louder, her frustration building. And now she was standing between me and my vehicle. I felt my chest tighten. The rest stop was silent except for the rustle of wind in the trees. We were alone. I told her I wasn't comfortable letting a stranger into my car. My voice was steady, but inside, my pulse was racing. She stared at me for a few long seconds. Her eyes didn't blink. It felt like she was trying to measure me, decide whether to push again. And then, just as suddenly as the anger had come, it drained away. Her face went blank. She turned, walking toward me, my muscles locked. But then she passed right by without a word. I kept trying to talk to her. I offered to call someone for her. I asked if there was another way I could help. Nothing. She didn't acknowledge me at all. Just walked to the far end of the rest stop, sat down on a log, and stared at nothing. Her body was still, her gaze empty. It was like the life in her had switched off. I didn't follow her. Every part of me was telling me to get out. I unlocked my door, got inside, and my hands were shaking as I started the engine. Her eyes didn't follow me as I drove away, but the image of her sitting there stayed with me, burned into the back of my mind. It wasn't until I was back in cell range that I called fire and rescue. I told them exactly where she was, described her appearance, and explained the situation. They said they'd send someone out, and I hung up, sitting there in the driver's seat, feeling torn. Because yes, I was scared for myself in that moment. Her behavior was unpredictable, her demands unsettling. But she was also just a lone woman, sitting in the middle of nowhere, with a storm rolling in. Part of me wondered if she was lost, or if something was wrong that I couldn't see. The other part of me couldn't shake the feeling that I'd just dodged something dangerous. I've turned the whole thing over in my head more times than I can count. If I'd been less cautious, maybe I'd have given her a ride. Maybe nothing bad would have happened. Or maybe I wouldn't be here to tell this story. So, am I the asshole for refusing her shelter in my car? Here's what I know. The human mind has a quiet alarm system. It doesn't always speak in words. Sometimes it's just a tightening in the gut, a shift in your breathing, a sudden awareness that something is off. That alarm doesn't care about being polite or about explaining itself logically in the moment. It's there to keep you alive. When I saw her on that trail, alone, in a place where there should have been no reason for her to be without a vehicle, the alarm went off. When she bypassed conversation and went straight for my car door, it went off again. And when she stood between me and my only way out, raising her voice with that strange certainty, it was blaring. I didn't ignore it. And I still helped in the safest way I could, by calling professionals who could handle whatever was really going on. Whether she was having a mental health crisis, stranded by someone else, or part of something more sinister. It wasn't my job to gamble my safety to find out. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that danger doesn't always look the way we expect. It isn't always a man in a dark alley. Sometimes it's a middle-aged woman in the middle of the day, speaking like she already has a claim to your choices. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do for both of you is to put space between you and them and call for help from a distance. So if you're ever in that moment, alone, uncertain, and feeling your body tense for reasons you can't quite explain, listen to that signal. You don't owe anyone blind trust. You can be both cautious and compassionate. You can protect yourself and still try to get them help. Now I want to hear from you. If you were in my shoes, with the storm rolling in, the trail behind you, and her standing at your car, what would you have done? Would you have turned the key and driven away like I did? Or would you have unlocked the door and taken the risk? Because sometimes the hardest part of these stories isn't the moment itself. It's living with the question of what might have happened if you'd chosen differently.